Welcome to the deep dive. We got a lot of requests to dig into this UN report, Governing AI for Humanity.
Yeah, it's a pretty dense one.
It is. It's a lot to unpack, but that's why we're here. We'll explore the most fascinating points and discuss what it all means for you. So,
It's the final report from the UN's high-level advisory body on artificial intelligence.
cool.
Published in September 2024, and they really get into some of the big questions about AI and how it's going to impact the world.
And they don't just focus on like all the scary Terminator stuff, right?
Yeah.
They actually start with some really promising ways that AI could benefit us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start off with a really positive tone. I think they realize there's a lot of fear out there about AI, so they wanted to kind of start off by saying, look, there's a lot of good that can be done with this.
Yeah.
And they give some concrete examples, like AI-powered systems that could analyze massive amounts of climate data
Wow.
to help us predict and mitigate the effects of climate change.
That's amazing. So we could be using AI to tackle some of the world's biggest problems.
Exactly. It's not just theory either. These solutions are already being developed and tested.
Yeah, it's like having a superpowered assistant for the entire planet.
Exactly. But they don't shy away from the potential risks either.
Yeah.
What's interesting is they take what they call a vulnerability-based approach.
Okay.
So they don't just say AI is risky. They look at who's most vulnerable and how.
Interesting.
It's like if you're designing a building, you need to consider who might be most vulnerable in an emergency.
Yeah.
And ensure there are appropriate safety measures for everyone.
That's a great analogy. So who are they most concerned about when it comes to AI?
One group they highlight is children.
Okay.
Because they are particularly susceptible to the influence of things like personalized content
Oh, yeah.
and addictive algorithms.
Makes sense.
And they point out that this could have a huge impact on their development,
Oh, wow.
even on their sense of self.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean,
Yeah.
kids are spending so much time online these days.
Right.
It's kind of scary to think about how algorithms and AI could be shaping their worldviews.
Yeah. It's definitely something we need to be thinking about.
Right.
And the report also touches on some broader societal concerns like AI's potential to increase social isolation
Okay.
or contribute to the spread of misinformation.
So it's not just about like the robots taking over. It's about AI subtly influencing our behavior and our society in ways we might not even realize.
That's a key point. And the report argues that this lack of awareness, combined with the rapid pace of AI development, has created a significant global governance gap.
So we've got this powerful technology with the potential to do good and harm, but we don't really have a system in place to manage it effectively.
Right.
That sounds like a recipe for trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. Think about the lack of accountability for AI-related harms, like who's responsible when an AI system makes a mistake,
Yeah.
or the risk of an AI arms race, where countries rush to develop and deploy AI without proper safety considerations.
It's a bit like the Wild West out there. Everyone's scrambling to stake their claim, but there are no rules,
Yeah.
no sheriffs,
No sheriffs.
and potentially a lot of shootouts.
That's a good way to put it. And the report makes a strong argument that this isn't just about mitigating risks.
Okay.
It's about ensuring that everyone benefits from AI's potential.
So we need a system that promotes responsible development, addresses the risks, but also ensures that AI isn't just benefiting a select few.
Exactly. We need a global approach to AI governance that prioritizes fairness, equity, and inclusivity.
So what's the solution? What does the UN report suggest we do about this governance gap?
Well, they don't just point out the problem. They offer a set of concrete recommendations.
Right.
They're ambitious,
Okay.
but they highlight a path forward.
All right. I'm ready to dive into these recommendations. Where do we start?
The report outlines 6 key areas for action,
Okay.
all focused on enhancing representation, coordination, and implementation in global AI governance.
Okay.
They get pretty specific, which I think is one of the strengths of the report.
All right. Let's hear it. What's recommendation number 1?
First up, they propose an international scientific panel on AI.
Okay.
It's about building a shared understanding of AI.
So kind of like a global AI think tank.
Yeah.
A place where the best and brightest can come together to figure out what AI is, what it can do, and what we need to be careful of.
Exactly. It's about cutting through the hype and misinformation that surrounds AI,
Yeah.
providing clear evidence-based insights to policymakers, researchers, and the public.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You can't have effective governance if people are operating on different levels of understanding.
Right.
So this panel would be like a central source of truth about AI,
Yeah.
its capabilities, and its potential impact.
Right. They would be tasked with producing reports, conducting research,
Yep.
and basically serving as a trusted guide to this complex world of AI. Think of them as mythbusters, but for AI.
Okay, I'm on board with that one. What's next on the list?
The second recommendation is an inclusive policy forum for AI.
We've got a panel of experts figuring out the science. Now we need a place to discuss the policy implications, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It's about creating a stable and inclusive space for dialogue where all countries,
Okay.
regardless of their level of AI development, can come together to share best practices,
Well,
learn from each other,
okay.
and work towards common goals.
So it's not about one country dictating the rules,
Right.
but rather a global effort to find solutions that work for everyone.
Exactly. They envision twice-yearly meetings that alternate between focusing on the opportunities and the risks of AI.
Yeah.
This helps ensure a balanced approach and allows for a wider range of concerns to be addressed.
Makes sense. We need to be looking at the whole picture, both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the third recommendation?
All right, so the third recommendation is called an AI standards exchange.
AI standards exchange.
Yeah. This one's about tackling the fragmented landscape of AI standards. It's like trying to build a house where everyone's using different measurements and materials.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to work very well.
So we need to get everyone on the same page when it comes to developing and deploying AI systems.
Exactly. The report proposes a forum where experts from standard-setting organizations, tech companies, and civil society can come together to develop and maintain a register of AI standards. Think of it as a central hub
Okay.
where everyone can access the latest guidelines, best practices, and technical specifications.
That sounds like a critical step towards ensuring interoperability and trust in AI systems.
Yeah.
But the report goes even further, right? They talk about the need for a socio-technical approach to AI standards. What does that even mean?
That's a great question. It means recognizing that AI isn't just about code and algorithms.
Okay.
It's a technology that's deeply intertwined with society, culture, and human values.
So it's not enough to just focus on the technical aspects of AI. We also need to consider the ethical, social, and cultural implications.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the report emphasizes the need to integrate these considerations into the very fabric of AI standards.
So instead of just asking, does this AI system work?
Yeah.
We also need to be asking, is it fair? Is it safe? Does it align with our values?
Exactly. We need to ensure that AI standards are not just about functionality,
Okay.
but also about responsibility.
That's a crucial distinction. It's not just about building AI that works,
Uh,
but building AI that works for us, for humanity.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway here. It's about ensuring that AI is developed and deployed in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Okay, this report is really starting to make me think about the big picture here.
Yeah.
We've got the expert panel, the policy forum, the standards exchange. It sounds like we're building a whole ecosystem for responsible AI development.
That's a great way to put it. And these first three recommendations really lay the foundation for the next three,
Okay.
which focus on addressing the global AI divide and ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to participate in the AI revolution.
Okay. I'm definitely intrigued. Let's dive into those next three recommendations and see how they fit into this bigger picture of global AI governance.
Let's do it. We're about to get into the nitty-gritty of how to make this vision of a just and equitable AI future a reality.
I'm ready to get my hands dirty.
So we've laid that groundwork with those first three recommendations, building a shared understanding, creating a space for policy discussions, and establishing consistent standards. But what about those who might be left behind in this AI revolution?
That's a crucial point. We can't have a truly beneficial AI future if only a handful of countries and corporations are reaping the rewards.
Exactly. And that's where the next three recommendations come in. They focus on closing that global AI divide and ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to participate in and benefit from AI advancement.
Okay, let's hear them. What's the fourth recommendation on the list?
It's the creation of a capacity development network for AI.
Okay.
The report argues that many countries, particularly in the Global South, lack the resources and infrastructure to develop and utilize AI effectively.
So it's about leveling the playing field, making sure that everyone has access to the knowledge, the tools, and the expertise needed to be a part of the AI landscape.
Exactly. This network would provide training resources and support to countries in need. Think online courses, sandbox environments for testing AI solutions, and fellowship programs that allow people from developing countries to gain experience in leading AI labs and institutions.
That's fantastic. It's like a global AI mentorship program, sharing knowledge and building capacity across borders.
Precisely. And it's not just about technical skills, it's also about fostering a broader understanding of AI's potential applications and implications within different cultural and societal
So
contexts.
it's about empowering people to use AI to solve their own unique challenges and contribute to the global AI ecosystem in meaningful ways.
That's the goal. Now, the fifth recommendation goes hand in hand with this capacity development network.
I'm guessing it involves funding. All this training and development can't come cheap.
You're sharp. It's the establishment of a global fund for AI, specifically targeted at addressing the financial barriers that many countries face.
So it's about providing the financial resources to make all this capacity building and infrastructure development possible.
Precisely. The report talks about putting a floor under the AI divide by providing financial assistance for things like research education and infrastructure development.
It's like a global investment fund for AI, but one that prioritizes equity and inclusivity. That's really interesting. So what's the final recommendation?
The sixth and final recommendation is the development of a global AI data framework.
Like,
It recognizes that data is the fuel that drives AI, and that access to diverse and representative data is crucial for developing fair and effective AI systems.
So it's not just about having data. It's about having the right data that reflects the diversity of our world and doesn't perpetuate existing biases.
Absolutely. The report calls for a framework that promotes interoperability, stewardship, and responsible data sharing, while also protecting privacy and empowering data subjects.
That sounds like a delicate balancing act.
Right.
How do we ensure that data is accessible enough to fuel innovation, but also protected enough to safeguard individual rights and prevent misuse?
That's the challenge. And the report acknowledges that it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah.
It emphasizes the need for ongoing dialogue and collaboration between the government's industry and civil society to find solutions that strike the right balance.
Okay, so those are the 6 recommendations. Building a shared understanding, creating a space for policy discussion, establishing consistent standards, bridging the AI divide, providing financial support, and creating a responsible data sharing framework. That's a pretty comprehensive plan.
It is. And taken together, these recommendations offer a roadmap for creating a future where AI benefits all of humanity. But the report doesn't stop there. It also grapples with a big question.
Okay.
Do we need a more formalized international institution for AI governance?
Oh, okay.
Like an international agency for AI?
That's a huge question. It almost sounds like we'd be creating a global AI watchdog. Is that what they're proposing?
Yeah. Not quite. They explore the idea, but ultimately stop short of recommending it at this stage.
Okay.
They point out that AI is still a rapidly evolving field,
Hmm.
and that creating a rigid bureaucratic structure might stifle innovation and be difficult to adapt as the technology advances.
So it's a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah.
We need to keep monitoring the situation and see if the current governance mechanisms are sufficient, or if more formalized institution becomes necessary.
Exactly. They present it as a question that needs further exploration and discussion,
Okay.
rather than a definitive answer.
That makes sense. It's like we're building the foundation for a house,
Yeah.
but we're not sure yet if we need a single architect or a team of builders. We need to figure out what works best as we go along.
That's a great analogy, and I think it highlights the need for flexibility and adaptability in approaching AI governance.
So if they're not recommending an international agency just yet, what are they suggesting we do in the meantime? Just keep relying on those 6 recommendations.
Exactly. They argue that those recommendations are crucial for laying the groundwork for a more robust and effective global AI governance system,
Okay.
regardless of whether we eventually create a formal international agency or not.
Okay, so it's not a question of whether or not we need an agency.
Right.
It's a question of when it might become necessary.
That's a great way to put it. The report outlines a few scenarios that could trigger the need for a more formal institution.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Mhm.
What kind of red flags should we be looking out for?
One scenario they highlight is the emergence of AI systems that are uncontrollable or uncontainable.
So if AI becomes so complex or sophisticated that it starts operating beyond human comprehension or control, that's a scary thought.
It is. Imagine an AI system that makes decisions that we can't understand or predict, or that can't be easily shut down or overridden. That would definitely raise serious concerns about the need for stronger governance mechanisms.
It's like the classic sci-fi trope of the AI that becomes self-aware and decides it doesn't need humans anymore. Hopefully we're a long way from that.
Hopefully. But it's something we need to be thinking about as AI continues to advance at such a rapid pace.
Okay, so uncontrollable AI is one potential trigger. What else?
Another concern they raise is the issue of accountability.
Okay.
If AI systems become so opaque that it's impossible to trace their actions back to human corporate or state actors that poses a significant challenge for governance.
So if an AI system causes harm, who's responsible? The developer? The user? The government that regulates it?
Exactly. If we can't assign responsibility for AI-related harms, it creates a dangerous situation where there's no incentive to ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly.
It's like a legal black hole where no one can be held accountable for the actions of an AI.
Mhm.
That's not a world I want to live in.
Agreed. And then there's the ever-looming question of superintelligence.
Superintelligence. We're talking about AI that surpasses human intelligence in every way.
Exactly. While the report acknowledges that true superintelligence isn't present in today's AI systems,
Yeah.
it suggests that its emergence could be a game changer for AI governance.
That's a mind-boggling concept. If AI becomes smarter than us, how do we even begin to govern it?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's one that philosophers, scientists, and policymakers have been grappling with for decades.
So it's not just about governing AI as it exists today. It's about anticipating the future and putting in place mechanisms that can adapt to whatever comes next.
Precisely. AI is a constantly evolving field, and its governance needs to evolve alongside it.
Okay, so we've got uncontrollable AI accountability issues and the potential for superintelligence. Those are some pretty big what-ifs to consider.
They are, but the report doesn't frame these scenarios as inevitabilities. It's more about being prepared and having a plan in place in case these challenges arise.
So it's like an insurance policy for the future of AI.
Yeah.
We're building a safety net in case things go sideways.
That's a great way to put it, and I think it highlights the report's overall message. We need to be proactive and thoughtful in our approach to AI governance.
We can't just wait and react. We need to anticipate potential challenges and put in place mechanisms that can guide AI development in a positive direction.
Exactly. The report is a call to action, urging us to engage in a global dialogue about the future of AI and its governance.
And it emphasizes that this conversation needs to involve everyone. Governments, tech companies, civil society researchers, the public, we all have a stake in shaping the future of AI.
It's a shared responsibility,
Yeah.
and it's one that we can't afford to ignore. Now, the report doesn't end with a doom and gloom message, right? It actually talks about the need for a global race to the top in AI governance.
Race to the top, what does that mean?
That's where the report shifts from focusing on potential risks to outlining a more positive vision for the future of AI. It argues that instead of competing to develop the most powerful AI, countries should be competing to develop the most responsible and beneficial AI.
So instead of an arms race, it's a race to be the best at governing AI, at ensuring that it's used for good and benefits everyone.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that AI is a powerful tool that has the potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges, but only if it's developed and deployed responsibly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this race to the top. What would it look like in practice? What are the key ingredients for success?
That's a great question, and it's one that we'll delve into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore what a race to the top in AI governance might look like in the real world and what concrete outcomes we should be striving for.
I'm ready to hear it. Let's shift gears and dive into this exciting vision for a future where AI is a force for good in the world. Okay, so we talked about all the potential risks of AI and the need for some kind of governance. But the report doesn't just leave us hanging there, right, with a bunch of scary what-ifs.
Not at all.
Okay.
It ends on a very optimistic note, actually. It lays out this vision of a global race to the top in AI governance, where countries are competing not to develop the most powerful AI, but to develop the most responsible and beneficial AI.
I love that idea. It's like shifting the focus from domination to cooperation, from who can build the biggest AI to who can use AI to make the world a better place.
Right, exactly. It's about recognizing that AI has this potential to help us solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Everything from climate change and poverty to disease and inequality.
Right.
But in order to unlock that potential, we need to make sure that AI is developed and deployed with a focus on human well-being and shared values.
Okay, I'm buying into this race to the top idea.
Yeah.
But what does it actually look like?
Right.
I mean, what would a world where AI is truly governed for humanity look like?
Well, imagine a world where AI is being used to personalize education,
Okay.
providing every student with a learning experience that's tailored to their specific needs, helps them reach their full potential. Imagine AI-powered healthcare systems that can diagnose diseases much earlier than we can now and more accurately, leading to better treatments and outcomes for everyone.
That's incredible. It's like using AI to supercharge our progress towards a more equitable and sustainable future.
Exactly. And imagine a world where AI is used to design our cities to make them more efficient, more sustainable,
Okay, yeah.
reducing traffic congestion, improving air quality,
Yeah.
making urban life just more enjoyable for everyone.
Those are some really inspiring examples. But it's not just about using AI to solve big problems, right?
Right.
It's also about making sure that AI is developed in a way that respects human rights and autonomy.
Absolutely. A race to the top also means prioritizing transparency and accountability in AI systems.
Okay.
We need to be able to understand how AI is making decisions and
Yeah.
who is responsible when things go wrong.
Right.
It's about building trust in AI and ensuring that it doesn't become a tool of oppression or discrimination.
So it's about making sure that AI empowers individuals and communities rather than controlling or exploiting them.
Exactly. It's about creating a future where AI works for us, not against us.
So what are the key ingredients for a successful race to the top? What needs to happen to actually make this vision a reality?
Well, the report highlights several key factors.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's about fostering a culture of global cooperation and collaboration. We need to move away from this idea of AI as a zero-sum game,
Okay.
where one country's gain is another's loss.
So instead of hoarding AI knowledge and expertise, we need to be sharing it, working together to develop solutions that benefit everyone.
Exactly. The report also emphasizes the need for inclusivity and participation. It's not just about governments and tech companies making these decisions behind closed doors.
Yeah,
We need to involve civil society researchers, ethicists, and the public in shaping the future of AI.
that makes sense. AI is going to impact everyone. So everyone should have a say in how it's developed and governed.
Absolutely. And finally, the report stresses the importance of continuous learning and adaptation. AI is a rapidly evolving field, and our governance mechanisms need to be flexible enough to keep pace.
So it's not about creating a set of rules and calling it a day. It's about constantly monitoring the situation, learning from our mistakes, and adapting our approaches as new challenges emerge.
Precisely. A race to the top is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a commitment to ongoing dialogue, collaboration, and innovation in pursuit of a future where AI truly benefits all of humanity.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
Right.
Well, first of all, it means that you're now armed with the knowledge to think critically about AI and how it's going to impact your world. You can have informed conversations about the opportunities and risks of AI and advocate for responsible development and governance.
Exactly. You can ask tough questions about the AI systems that you encounter in your daily life.
Yeah.
Is this AI fair? Is it transparent? Is it being used in a way that aligns with my values?
You can support organizations that are working to promote responsible AI development,
Yeah.
and you can use your voice to shape the future of AI in your community and beyond.
The future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we are all creating together through the choices that we make and the actions that we take.
This UN report is a call to action. It's urging all of us to be thoughtful, informed, and engaged in shaping the future of AI.
It reminds us that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
The power to decide how AI is used ultimately lies in our hands. Let's use that power wisely. And together, let's create a future where AI truly benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive into the UN's report governing AI for humanity.
Thanks for listening.
We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to join the conversation about the future of AI.